All right. So, here's episode 3, and we have another guest for the show. He is a man who doesn't sleep, a kind and genuine person with a curious mind. He has experienced different parts of the world and has a unique outlook on life. Because of this, I'm very grateful for this conversation so I can learn from his experiences and gather some of his insight. He served in the U.S. Army and is currently finishing up his studies at Tiffin University. I could go on and on outlining his accomplishments, but nonetheless, welcome, Troy Lucius.
Well, I appreciate the introduction. You really knocked my socks off there. I wasn't ready for that, but I appreciate it.
Cool, man.
I'm here to learn from you. I feel like I could probably learn more from you than you could from me.
Oh, hell no, dude.
Hell, maybe, dude.
All right. Well, here we go, dude. Thanks for doing this, man.
I believe you have the crack this with the bottle opener, by the way, but maybe I'm just supposed to, who knows?
Thank you, sir.
I stole that from Korea, by the way.
The bottle opener?
Yeah.
Cheers, my friend.
And I took those from the Viaduct. It is what it is.
Cool, dude. Well, thanks for doing this again. How you feeling tonight?
Good. Interesting. Like, obviously it's a new experience for me, so it's kind of weird to like just be here, just be a part of this, and hopefully I give you some good stuff, some good content. There you go.
Oh, hell no, dude. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's just about, kind of want to do this series. I know we were just talking about it before we were recording, of what I want to do with it, and just kind of document some of our thoughts while we can.
Mm-hmm.
Something for us to look back on in the future, and see how fucking stupid we were 20 years from now.
I love it. Yeah, I think it's an awesome thing that you're doing. Like, I always regretted not taking enough pictures and stuff when I was in the Army. It's like, why not just put a little bit more effort in, just so you can look back on something and see who you were then, who you are now, and how life changes and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally, man. So I want to start it off, go right into it. Got a question for you, or maybe a comment. Is it safe to say that you love America?
Yeah, I mean, anybody in the military basically will tell you that they love their country, maybe not their government, and I think that shoe fits pretty well for me. And if you've never been outside of the country before, you don't really realize how lucky you are to have the rights and freedoms that you do. And some people could say, like, what freedoms do we actually have? Like, I get where they're coming from with that. Like,
yeah,
you will never own your house, own your property. Like, don't pay your taxes, see what happens, But there's not a lot of countries where you can say, fuck the president, or I'm going to go burn an American flag on the White House. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Like, in North Korea, your family, 3 generations, your family's gonna get fucked up. Like,
yeah,
America's not perfect, but in all-time history, like, how many countries are thousands and thousands of years old? We're what, 200? I don't know, 275, something like that. Don't quote me on the math on that. That was terrible. Don't quote me on the math on that. 247. How about that?
It's all good, man. I'm not doing it in my head either.
Right. But, yeah, man, like, America's a great country. I'm going to vent for a little bit here, but to those who say that they're at a disadvantage, maybe you are. Maybe your life is worse than the next person's, but, like, what are you going to do about it? If you sit and say my life is worse than somebody else's, like, you can say it all you want, but nothing's ever going to change. Like, you have to be the person to change it. In America, that's a place where you can step up. You can change your life. Good things can happen in America, and I just hope that somehow, some way, we can get past, like, bigotedness and racism and shit like that, and help people see the bigger picture. Like, and for people who are at a disadvantage, like, let's say systemic racism is exactly what people think it is, like, the worst thing in the world. It's on them to overcome it. That maybe them's not the best word to use, but it's on the people who feel oppressed to stand up to it and say, like, hey, man, like, I'm not gonna pull other people down. I gotta catch up, and that sucks, but it's the best way you're gonna be able to solve your problems in my mind.
Yeah, dude. Oh, fuck, dude. That's awesome. That's actually great. I had a question ready for on this kind of exact topic to get into during this conversation. I started reading David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me book.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the exact premise.
I got it back there somewhere.
Do you?
I haven't read it yet, though.
Yeah, dude. So, like, the exact premise of it is that the exact same concept of all of this negativity that happens to people. It's only negative when you internalize that experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's 100% up to you as the person to take that situation and either take it as it is, grow from it,
Mm-hmm.
or just be depressed and beat down from that.
Absolutely.
Or you can take it and push yourself in a better direction to either guide yourself to be better than that person who put you down, take it better to prove other people wrong, and try to take that experience as a positive note. I know 100% that's hard to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
As somebody who might not have experienced that much beat down on your life.
Yeah.
But I 100% agree with that, at least that philosophy and mindset on life of, like you said, it's only up to you to steer your life in the direction you want to go.
Absolutely.
And don't fucking let other people dictate how you feel.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to.
Like, I could tell you that my life is hard, my life's hard, your life's easier than mine, all this, all that, but, like, what's it going to change? It's not going to change anything. Like, at some point in time, whether it's fair or not fair, it's not fair. It's 100% not fair for a lot of people, but you got to get in the driver's seat. You got to change your circumstances. I mean, it's obviously it's a lot easier said than done, and that's a what am I trying to say here? Like a generalization.
Yeah, dude, and yeah, I 100% see what you're saying. You don't want to fucking glamorize and make it sound like it's so fucking easy, because it's not easy if you have in a fucking tough situation. But at the end of the day, like you said, we live in a country that you have that ability and freedom to better yourself, and push yourself out there to be the best person that you can be.
Right. And it's sometimes like, well, how can I get out of this? Like, you know what? Like the Army, the military, it might be the worst experience ever, but at least you're going to gain a footing to stand on to, like, not everyone can join and stuff like that, but there are ways to get out of bad situations, and, you know, just, like, you got to keep your mind open for, like, what can I do to make myself better versus, like, how can somebody else help me out of the situation? Like, sometimes you just got to, you got to strap up and do it, which is obviously a potentially super white privilege thing to say, but, like, what else are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're two fucking dudes talking about oppression and racism, which is hard. Yeah. Hard to get a fair perspective from it, from not
anybody
having
could
the same experience.
Point at us right now and be like, you would have no fucking clue. Like, and you're not wrong.
Yeah.
For me, at least. Yeah.
All right, man. Hey, I got a quote that I don't want to fuck up.
Okay.
Let's lighten up the mood just a little bit from that.
Okay. Yeah, that got real steep.
Hey, no worries, man. On July 4th, 2014, you said, "Why are there no knock-knock jokes about America?" It's because freedom rings, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly.
Does this quote still hold up for you?
I don't drink so much of the Kool-Aid anymore, but did you look at the post underneath that? And someone said, "Yeah, they don't knock because America's a police state." Like, hey, that's a pretty good answer too.
I did not see that.
Oh yeah, but yeah. I mean, I don't drink the Kool-Aid so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Rock on, dude.
Sorry.
Knock on, dude.
I thought it was funny.
Right.
I was scrolling through stuff trying to find some things to talk about, or like bring up some things in your closet that you might be still out there online, and I thought that was a funny post.
I have my fair share of, especially with the Army, like drinking the Kool-Aid, dude. Me and like that Hua dude, like, oh man, it's embarrassing. But
hey, man, that's life, right?
Yeah, it is what it is.
Well, yeah, let's segue into that a little bit. You cool with talking about Army experience and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I also saw another thing when I was scrolling through your Facebook trying to look at shit. There was another post I thought was interesting that I don't know if it's 100% true, or I didn't know, was a comment that you said you always thought that you were going to be in the military?
Oh, okay, yeah, absolutely. Since I was probably 3 or 4, I knew that I was going to be in the Army for sure.
Explain that. That's hard for me to wrap my head around.
I got you. Like every year for Christmas and stuff like that, Halloween I'd always dress up as like a soldier. Christmas I'd always ask for, you know, like fake guns and like Army clothes and stuff like that. Always just knew that it was gonna be. I remember like writing a paper in 2nd grade, like I'm gonna be in the Army someday, stuff like that. Not a lofty goal, but you know, I try to set goals and go and do it. But yeah, it's been a lifelong goal for me.
That's fucking wild, dude. That you had that mindset that early on in life. So you joined directly out of high school, or was there any time in between graduating and joining?
Yeah. So my junior year at Sentinel, there's an Army recruiter there, and I walked right up to him like, "Hey, sign me up. Like let's go. I'll go to. I can't go tomorrow because I'm a junior in high school, but like I'm ready for it." And then he came to my house, and then it became a long process because I had 3 surgeries at that point. I have a screw in my hip, I had knee surgery right there, and then I have a screw in my ankle. Took forever, and then by the time I finally got to join, it was after graduation of high school, so when all these other dudes are joining. So it was hard. I had to fill out a waiver. Most people only go to like the medical and processing station, MEPS. They'll go there twice. They go there to like do their physical and stuff, and then they leave. I had to go there 5 times, and like I originally got denied from the Army, and then I had to go get a medical waiver. I had to go to some hospital, and some 70-year-old doctor who hardly spoke English like looked at me. He's like, "Hey, you're gonna have to get a hip replacement when you're 50, but that shouldn't. I don't see why that should stop you from joining the Army." So I owe that guy a lot and stuff like that. But yeah, that's how it came to be. And
was that news hard to take from having that goal?
Oh yeah,
thought that you were gonna be able to join and shit.
It fucking tore me apart. Like I do not like not achieving what I set out for, and so there's no context. They just sent me a letter like, "Hey, you're barred from joining any military service." Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
yeah.
Now what the hell do I do with my life? And my recruiter called me a couple days later. He's like, "Hey man, like, hold your brakes." Like, well, you could have told me that like, a while ago, you know. But I took that real hard, man. And then so yeah, more stuff, and then so I graduated in May, and then I actually ended up leaving November 13th, 2012.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's wild. So yeah, kind of if you want to high level, just go through that process a little bit of. So you left November of 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just kind of go through the whole thing?
Okay.
I don't go as detailed as you want. I'm just kind of curious of that whole experience of how it started, what was it like training, and then kind of maybe some of your memories of like your biggest memories of going through the military.
Okay. I probably can't remember all the good stuff right now, but a lot of ups, a lot of downs. Going through basic, not that hard. Like, the hardest part was dealing with other people. So, like, I went to Relax in Jackson. Spoiler alert, it wasn't that hard. If I went to Benning or something like that, it'd probably be 2 to 3 times harder, but my grandma could have passed it. Like, it was not that hard. I had a lot of great memories. Just really dumb stuff that sticks out. Like, one time, it's going to be hard to, like, for me to paint this picture for you since it's, like, 2 different worlds. Like, it'd be you telling me how to build a bridge. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. So one time, like, my squad get picked for a detail, and so we had to go to this range. It was like a machine gun range. We had to go there early and set up all the ammo, and then at the end of the day, after everyone else left, we had to, like, take down all the targets and stuff like that. And obviously, while you're there, they monitor your caloric intake and stuff like that, but in one of the vehicles that were taking us back, we were in the back of like an LMTV. It's like a big cargo truck. Like, the people in charge were driving, but all of us Joes were in the back. And they had all this food there, and all these dudes are just tearing the shit apart. And one fucking guy says, like, you know what? Oh, by the way, so we're in, like, the backwoods, like, going through old, like, logging roads. They're just terrible, so we're bouncing up and down like crazy. Some dude's like, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bowl of cereal. Because it was, like, a plastic box of Raisin Bran with some, like, that milk that, like, never expires ever.
Yeah.
So then obviously he spills it everywhere. He spills it on the drill sergeant's bag, right? So we're like, oh fuck, dude, like we're tearing the shit apart. Like looking back on it, probably wouldn't have been that big of a thing, but like when it happened, you're like, dude, like this is bad. But so we like poured a bunch of water over a bunch of stuff. Like, oh, I was drinking at my canteen, and I, threw it and got everything wet. But that was one big thing that stuck out. And there's just like dumb memories that if you're not there, it probably doesn't sound very funny, but just really dumb stuff. Like on Sundays, you could elect to go to church, which a lot of people did. Like you go to the bus stop and then you get on a bus and it take you to there's 13 different churches you could have gone to there. Like you could have been a Wiccan and gone to that kind of stuff. But me and some other dudes were going to the Catholic church, and it's really hard for me to portray. But so here's our barracks, and here's this bus stop, and there's 35 people, 35 basic trained soldiers standing at this bus stop, and we're all just no one's watching us. We're doing whatever the fuck we want, just fucking around. And then some drill sergeant comes out and sees we're all fucked up, and he's like, they call it smoking. He smokes the fuck out of us, and then he's from a different company, so he's not from ours. So he doesn't know who we are.
Yeah.
So then once in a while, you see him turn his back, you just see 3 people get up and fucking bolt out of there, and then you're like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna do it too. Just really really dumb stuff like that. If he would have caught us, he would have fucking chased us down. He would have fucked your life up for sure. But graduated basic, went to Fort Gordon in Georgia, and that was pretty anticlimactic. It wasn't anything crazy. But so I graduated, and for some reason I had to stay there for 2 extra weeks. I wasn't doing anything. I'd wake up to go do PT and stuff like that in the beginning of the day, and then for the rest of the 8 hours, where everyone else is in school learning and stuff, I would just chill, because there's me and 4 other people that were in the same situation. And I had this stuff called hometown recruiting, where you can go back to your hometown, help other recruiters go to high schools and be like, hey,
yeah,
I'm in the Army now, look at me, I'm fucking cool, you should do this too.
Yeah.
But it was my last day there, and apparently I was like, fuck it, I'm not going down for PT, they're not gonna count me, whatever, I'm not supposed to be here anyways. And apparently a ton of people skipped out on PT that day. So these cadre members got in a loudspeaker and were like, hey, if you're in the barracks right now, not up for formation, we're gonna fucking Article 15 your ass. So I had hometown recruiting, so they would have cut that. I was going to Korea, so I would have gone 6 months without seeing my family. Well, it would have been 3 months, and then the additional year with straight without seeing my family. I was like, fuck, I can't lose this, right? So I'm on the 3rd floor of this barracks, and then so I immediately fucking throw my clothes on I'm supposed to. I go down to the 2nd floor. They're kind of built like some hotels that have balconies and stuff.
Yeah. So
I fucking climbed down the balcony on the other side of the building where they were. Fucking ran and hid behind a dumpster for an hour and a half, and just waited for people to walk by, because you're not supposed to be by yourself ever. So if you're by yourself, they know something's wrong. So I hid by the dumpster for an hour and a half till I saw some people walk by, and I joined them to go back. But it's just stuff like that, just dumb, fuck it. But
it's such a different way of living.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just that experience at all is it sounds like you're not going to get it anywhere else other than going through that.
Yeah, absolutely. And just dumb fun. They call it shamming. I was pretty good at it. You're going to get a paycheck regardless, no matter what, and there's not that many team players in the military. And a lot of people start out pretty hardcore, drinking the Kool-Aid and shit, go team, raw. Then after a while, you're all right, all these dudes, you're supposed to do this, they fucking leave and go do whatever they want. So it's you and there's supposed to be 10 people doing this, it's you and 4 other people, this fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And then eventually, you know what, fuck this, I'm out too, if you can't beat them, join them. But I stuff like that, it was kind of the highlight of my time, because especially when I was in Texas, because there wasn't really shit going on.
So did you touched on it briefly about you're doing this before you're going to South Korea.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do South Korea before Texas?
Yeah, so I went from Fort Gordon to South Korea for a year, which is honestly the best thing that ever happened to me. I have 5 things that happened in my life that set my life on a different course, and that was probably the second best thing that had ever happened to me in my entire life. But if you're curious, the first best thing was going from Nicaragua to Hopewell. So,
no shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why is that?
just a different world. Taking a perspective from this to this, for me at least, and then joining the army, going to Korea was taking a perspective from that to actually like eyes wide open type thing.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
But Korea's awesome. I got to join a lot of like-minded individuals, like a bunch of 19-year-olds. A lot of them with money for the first time. We were getting like $500-$600 a week, which is like fucking decent for a lot of people, you know, especially when you're 19.
Yeah.
But and pretty much no holds barred, man. Like in Seoul, one of the biggest cities in the world, they don't check your ID for anything. Like you have to be 21 to drink. But I mean, if you're American with money, you can do whatever the fuck you want there. It was a different world for sure. It was definitely one of the best things that ever happened to me. One of my buddies just invited me to his wedding that I haven't seen since 2014.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's definitely a brotherhood for sure.
And he was there in Korea with you?
Yeah.
Dude, I can't even begin to try to. You're trying to explain this world of South Korea. I can't even grasp that one bit.
Yeah, it's a different world. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
I wish I could like paint a better picture for you, but
no worries, man.
It's hard, man. But just being 19, doing whatever the fuck you want, like out with your best friends. Like the city is yours, dude. Like I don't have anything here that I stole from Korea, but I took anything and everything I could get my hands on. And me and some of my buddies were the same way. Actually, I took that from Korea. Never mind. But it's like it sounds stupid, but the experience was A+, and I met a lot of people there who changed my life for sure. Like I always got to give props to this guy named Sergeant Henry. He was like my supervisor, and I'm not trying to diss anybody here, but like for me to learn, I had to go outside of Ohio, outside of Hopewell, like to my family, all that shit, to get like a real perspective. This guy took me under his wing and just like helped me think about life in an absolute different way that made me a 1,000,000% better person. And like every day is just a reflection of that. Like if I wouldn't have him in my life, then I would be a different person. Absolutely. I'm not saying I'm a great person now, but I would be a way less better person.
You want to talk about anything specific that he mentioned to you, or is that like, oh no, I'm gonna keep that to myself?
No, it's not. It's so long ago that like maybe the individual lessons have worn off, but like I guess the big thing was like empathy. Not that I didn't have it before, but he just got me to look at things in a different way, and just a great leader. Like a lot of people say they know what leadership is, but like that dude ingrained it. Like he was the best leader I've ever had, I will ever have. Like
yeah,
I wish like on the spot thinking, it's kind of hard to think of like a one thing, but like one time I don't know, man, like I always say like if he asked me to go rob a bank with him or like go to hell with him, I'd be like fuck yeah, like I'm already there, dude, let's do it. And if anyone asked me, I'd be like, no, that's stupid as shit, like I'm not doing that, sorry.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Those people in your life are such yeah, it's important to have that, I feel like, but also it's crazy to think about like how much you think that has molded your life after that experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And like the thing is like he's from the streets, from the hood in the Bronx, and I'm like from the cornfields of Ohio, so we're absolutely different people, but it just shows you like different people can connect and you can learn stuff from other people. I don't know, and like I give him props because he went out of his way for me. Yeah. So I my goal was to always like pay that back to somebody else, and I hope that sometime I can do that. I've already done it, but like I just want to be like show somebody like, hey man, like you can think about things in a different way, like that can better your life. You don't have to, you know, be like there's more out there.
Yeah, and there's different ways that people can grow their horizon or have their different perspective. I think it's crazy the way you mentioned that it happened at such a young age from coming. I mean, like I said, newer to Hopewell isn't a huge change, but it definitely is different than a lot of people from small town Nicaragua get at a younger age to just have that, like, hey, dude, from 20 people in a class, you go from 60 to 80.
Yeah.
It's just like that little bit is a huge step. And then to move to Korea at 19, that's a huge jump at an extremely young age to have a completely different world perspective, because I still know people from a hometown that have never left Ohio, right?
I've never left Seneca County. I mean, to each their own.
Yeah,
but,
100%. People can learn and kind of grow in different ways, but I'm with you on that one. I couldn't do it without getting out a little bit and experiencing and seeing that firsthand.
It's like looking through the world with like a different set of eyes. Like, wow, you know, I just view things differently than I would have before, and it's addicting. Like you don't want to stop progressing and learning and stuff like that.
Yeah. But, yeah, dude. That's.
What about you? Any impactful lead? I'm sorry, I'm Chatty Cathy over here. You got any impactful leaders that?
There's been a few throughout life, like, that have kind of just helped, I think, mold my mind. A big one was, like, started off, probably first thing was like, Beisner.
Okay.
As cross-country coach. And he was, and like, kind of a person who was helped mold, I think, a mentality on me that was, like, don't half-ass shit.
Okay.
Like
that.
And that kind of was stuck with me, but so much of that mentality of growing up in Nicaragua is always instilled on you. Is like, hey man, it's work hard and bust your ass, and that's what you do to become successful.
Absolutely.
And that whole mentality from small town is always ingrained, it seems like. But that was like another one from outside of like a family. Right. I remember just going through that, and like something that maybe most people really wouldn't enjoy is running. It's like, hey, just like don't half-ass shit and like really put your all into it to make something work.
Yeah, absolutely. And like it just, I don't know, man. Like to me, leadership is life changing. You know, if you get the right person at the right or wrong time, doesn't even matter. Like they can just completely change your life, and to have anybody like that is a blessing for sure.
Yeah. So, like, the next biggest thing that I can think of offhand was working masonry and going to... I was still a junior in high school, and I thought kind of that's where my life was going. I was just going to work the rest of my life and just stay in Nicaragua. And I didn't have that opening up outside of getting out of that perspective. It was like, hey, man, I've been kind of ingrained to, if I work hard... and I had jobs and just worked through high school, and I'll just fucking do that. And I worked for Keith, and one of the guys there, which is funny, I never looked at him as like a huge leader or a kind of someone that I looked up to now looking back. But one day he was just like looking at me, and he was like, don't fucking stay here.
I love that.
And like, that's just like completely being blunt and straight with it. He's like, why the fuck are you trying to stay here? And just like got me to question my life.
Yeah, it's like, and look at you now, just from that outside influence.
Yeah, and it was crazy. And like that one simple comment, he was like, dude, I was your age. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe he saw a little bit of himself. Like maybe he thought that he's like, I had that exact same mentality, and I now look back and wish I would have fucking done something different.
Right. Absolutely, dude.
And it was such it's so crazy. It's ingrained in my brain. And I think of that moment a lot, actually, because that one is the only reason I ever looked to even go to college.
Yeah, and like, you know, look how much more multifaceted you are now and stuff like that. Just because, like, well, yeah, but I mean, like...
Totally. No, yeah.
Yeah, like... A lot more layers, a lot more, you know.
Yeah, and it gave me 100% different outlook, because that led to going to school and getting out of Nicaragua, meeting new people, and just like you said, there's been like 5 major steps for you. Like that moment for me, going to college, just meeting new people, and then that led to, I think the first big step for me to really get a try to figure out like me to think by myself was getting out of like the party aspect of just hanging out with people, you know, having that easy, accustomed, hey, this is fun, we're living it up, and then like, hey, I'm getting shipped off to Illinois to go work. So like that was the first time I've been 100% by myself with like no new comfort zone. So I was like, hey man, I gotta learn a new thing, like set of, hey, what do I want to do now?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just here to think, which was good. I like when you can get in your head and just think about where your life is going, and that kind of led being more independent, being comfortable, being by myself, not leaning on my friends and family,
absolutely.
and just like, hey, what am I gonna do now with all of my time, and just think about shit.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best things anybody could do is like, it doesn't matter if it's 20 miles or 2,000 miles or whatever, like just getting away for 3 months at the max, like just being a little bit interdependent on yourself, like it changes people. It's a growth that people need, whether they fail, whether they have the worst experience of their life or the best experience of life. Like everyone needs that little nudge to see like what else is like, what a non-sheltered life is like for that person.
Yeah, and so it's hard to put myself in other people's shoes of like saying what works or doesn't work with growing, but I feel like I'm very much on the same page with you. Of getting that little bit of independence was huge. Of hey, 3 months, even if it was just a short amount of time,
right?
It can mold your perspective in a drastically different way, because you can just pull yourself out of your own situation for a little bit, maybe, or your situation from 3 months ago.
Right.
It's like, because you are in a completely different environment, and say like, hey, do I want to go back to that, or I'm doing this now, and there's other things out here that can lead you to different directions.
Yeah, like you're leaving that safety net.
Yeah.
Maybe more metaphorically than anything. Like, let's say for marathon, you're getting paid. So it's not like you're out there like on your own.
Oh yeah.
But like, like you're not like have nickels and dimes your name, but like, for anybody to get out there and just try.
Yeah.
To leave the safety net called home, like.
Yeah, dude, and
it's so good for everybody.
And like it's hard. It is fucking hard to once you get a comfort zone of a steady income, you think you're feeling happy and good with your life. It's like hard to push for change if you think that you need it, because it's like it's comfortable. And sorry.
No, you're good. That's exactly how I feel now. Like I've been so comfortable in college since like a couple months in, and I'm about to leave. It's like, I'm about to take that leap of faith. Like,
yeah,
it's exciting, but like, this is I actually gotta go grind now. Gotta go, put the pedal to the metal and go figure shit out. Like, not just be safe.
Yeah, be in cruise mode.
Yeah, that's 1,000,000% what I'm in for all of college. That's why I got fat as shit. Yeah, but sorry, back to you.
Yeah, no, I was just, where I was going with that was where you said, you start getting money and you have money, like, a sense of me feels that comfort, and I'm scared of getting in a complacent situation where it's like, hey, I'm just completely comfortable, I have a good job, like, why should I change?
Right.
And I don't want to fall in that mindset, because it's going to be like that. It's going to be fucking 20 years from now.
Yeah.
You'll be like, Jesus Christ.
It'll just be, next thing you know.
And, coming from a place where you might have had...
Did you hear that?
No, I did not. What's up?
I just burped.
Coming from a place where, when I first moved out to Illinois, I had $15 was like all that I had left.
I love that.
Like right after I went grocery shopping, it was like, fuck, I only got $15 left, so so I can't do much here. And like that was the first time I ever actually made real money.
Right.
Like, holy shit, dude.
Bosses didn't pay you the big bucks.
I did not get the big bucks. But yeah, it was like, holy shit, dude. And now it's nice having an income. Like, it is scary to feel like getting trapped in that system. Because I don't want to get trapped in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, sometimes I always ask people, like, what are your goals? What do you want to do in life? And some people, like, this is where I become like who the fuck am I to say this? But like, some people's goals are like to have a family. Like, oh, anybody can do that. But again, I'm just some fucking guy. Like, if that's you, that's you. You know, but like, but it's like you can do other stuff. Like,
yeah,
it's not.
Doesn't need to be the end all be all.
Yeah, exactly. In my,
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. Let's get into goals in a little bit. I want to, before we kind of go into that part of our conversation, I do want to talk about you coming back and going to college.
Okay.
I'm curious on that of decision and direction.
Okay.
Where you at right now with your life. You came back from the military and you started going to college at an older age when like all of our friends are graduating.
Right.
And you're like, fuck dude, I'm going in now. How was that coming into college, being older than the rest of like your peers essentially? And what do you major in? And then how has college experience been with you overall? So just go into it, man.
I'm going to take a step back. So I got out of the Army. I thought that it was, same thing as you as the masonry. I thought I was going to work for my dad's construction company, garage door company, close enough, for everybody who doesn't understand what garage doors are. Oh, I cut out for a second. I was back.
You're good, man.
Anywho, thought that was the end all be all. And then I started working at the Viaduct and my dad's company at the same time. And the Viaduct went great. Lucius store was going fucking awesome. I loved it. And then things changed, and then I was like, fuck, man, like, I can't do this anymore. And then I was at the Viaduct, and like, I really loved the Homeland Security part of the military was like national security. And I was like, I think I could actually have a great job, like, love my life doing that. So I made an extremely difficult decision to leave my parents' business and like honestly working at the Viaduct is how I got to where I am now. Like, it was like, fuck, I could play football there too. Like, I see these guys coming in all the time. Like, you know what? They're no different than me. I could do that.
Yeah.
So I decided to basically quit my job and go to college because I could go to college for free. So it wasn't like the biggest gamble in the entire world. And I'm in Tiffin. I'm from Nicaragua, so it's not like I'm completely fucking sending it, But
yeah.
So started going to college. I started playing football in college. Football. I didn't like any of my teammates basically. But that's being an older dude with younger dudes. It's kind of rough sometimes. But honestly, going to college is like, I think I was 22 going on 23. It was fucking awesome, dude. Like, you get a lot more respect from the teachers. Like, people treat you like an adult and stuff like that. I loved it. Like, especially having the military background, like, people give you way too many props for that than they should. Like, oh, you're fucking awesome. Like, people get kicked out of the military every day for doing drugs and shit like that. Like, it's not really the world's biggest accomplishment, but it was cool, man. And like, college to me was pretty easy because Homeland Security, national security, all that stuff. I did a lot of my own learning in the Army, so I have like tons of books about military history and military strategy and crap like that. So I understand a lot of the concepts already. So it was just pretty smooth. So right now I major in Homeland Security / counterterrorism, and I double major with National Security and Government. And I'm going to get a minor in criminal investigations also, I believe. But it's not as impressive as it sounds, just a lot of words thrown together.
Yeah.
But I'm really good at mapping, so I just looked at all the classes I needed to take, and a lot of classes overlapped, and I just figured out how I could best manipulate it for me.
Yeah. You're going to be graduating from college here in a month, right? 2 months.
Mm-hmm. End of April, so already April. It's April 1st.
Is there any official plans of what's next yet?
I will be paving roads this summer at Vitamin D. You gotta plug them.
And that's where you're at last year, right?
Yeah. I love all the people I work with, all that stuff. How long am I gonna do it? I don't know. Who knows? It's a great job, but again, same thing. Like being comfortable. Like it's not my end goal. And
yeah.
I love the schedule though. We do like 75 hours a week, max. Let's say like 60. But you get from like November to May off, and then I'm a big adventure guy, so it's a great time to go do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Instead of having 2 weeks of vacation and Saturday, Sunday off, like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. So are you gonna plan on using your degree, or is that just kind of like maybe?
Yeah. I will someday. I don't like to give all my plans away because I don't feel like having people ask me about it and like.
Yeah, totally. Man.
You know, judging me for what they think I should do.
Yeah. I'm not trying to judge you.
No, not you, but.
Yeah.
I'll probably get in trouble for this from people, but no, it's all right. But like, I don't like going too crazy in my plans because like I just don't want to hear people's backlash about like, oh, I think that's a dumb choice. Well, great, you fucking do whatever you want. I'm gonna do what I want. If I fail, then I fail. It's no big deal. Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Why are you not comfortable taking compliments?
Taking compliments? I don't know. I mean, like, why? I don't know. That caught me off guard. I didn't know I was so bad at taking them, dude. I don't know. I guess I don't feel that I earned them. Like, I definitely appreciate like a good job when I fucking kill something, like fucking knock it out of the park. But like, yeah. Just randomly, like.
Oh no, that's a fair statement. I was just sorry. I didn't mean to throw it out of left field.
No, you're good.
You mentioned about a little bit of like people blowing you smoke about being in the military and like I've said stuff like thanks for your service. You just kind of like and you're just kind of like, dude, stop saying it. Shut up.
Yeah, but if you did it, you'd be like, hey. This is fucking stupid. B, everyone here is stupid. Like, obviously there's a lot of great people. Mm. And it's definitely elevated my life, but, like, it is not what a lot of people portray it to be. Yeah. For me.
Yeah, dude. And I was just, yeah.
All right. What about you? How do you take compliments?
I don't take them good either. I'm the same way. I was like, it's kind of like just makes me like, dude, shut up. It's fine. That's what I was just trying to.
Right. Just
do what I think is right.
Right.
And that's it. And hopefully it plays out with, you know, how I try to align my morals and guidance and try to do my best, and that's essentially what it comes down to. So I don't need to be praised for it.
I mean, I think that you do an excellent job at a lot of things that you do, and I think that's fucking awesome. Like, ooh, brings up a good point. Like, I'm an adventure guy, but like I think about you just like going to Jamaica and shit like that. Like, yeah, pretty non-scheduled. I guess would be like, that's awesome, dude. So I wish someday I wouldn't be at that level where I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna go to, I don't know, like Turkmenistan. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do there, but it's gonna be fucking awesome. Like, yeah. So props to you on that.
Oh my
That's
god,
fucking
dude.
Awesome. Dude.
I've learned. I mean, Morgan, I've learned as we kind of go for traveling and shit of pick up on things of like what to look into before you go, and like be prepared in a sense, but like not do shit that's lame.
Yeah.
It was like, so we were planning on going to Jamaica, and we had kind of like a set outline of where we were going to go. We looked up things, what to do, what's around, but pretty much play it by ear. And everybody we fucking talked to was like, what do you mean you're not staying in a resort? And it's like, dude, fuck the resorts. Like,
are you in Jamaica or are you just on a beach somewhere?
Yeah.
Like,
it's like,
ooh, you rode a 4-wheeler? You know, like,
yeah.
Who am I to say a lot of this shit, but like, great job, you fucking rode a 4-wheeler somewhere. Like, go experience. You're not experiencing the culture.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we, and me, I don't want to speak for Morgan, but yeah, you're not experiencing the culture, and that's what's way more fucking fun.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
of getting out and seeing the country. It's like you said, if I wanted to see a beach that's American beach, I could do that here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go to Jamaica and just eat cheeseburgers and pizza and
right.
lay on a chair all day.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was like everybody was like so freaked out, like it was the most dangerous thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm sure like there's parts of the world where you put yourself in dangerous situations, but if you're, I truly believe if you're genuinely a good person, and don't be a dick to people,
right,
and just don't put yourself in bad
Don't be
situations.
naive.
Yeah, it's like if you are aware of your surroundings, and maybe there's a person out there that's trying to take advantage of you, just being self-aware of your situation and trying to play that game of interacting with people.
Yeah.
But I think people are too scared that they're in their American bubble, that everybody is out to get them in another country. And it's like, I just cannot believe that's the case.
Right.
Most people, everybody we ran into in Jamaica's super fucking chill. I mean, sure, there was like people that just wanted to scam you, but they're poor as fuck, man, and they want money.
Right.
And they see you, and a lot of people just see like, hey, this dude's got money, right? Because he's white.
Yeah, I totally believe that for sure. Like, would I go to war with Mexico? Probably not, dude. But like, yeah, like Jamaica, and like, if you don't put yourself in the worst situations possible, like if you have, there's a dark alley, and there's like no way out of here, like, I'll just walk around.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing. It's like, as long as you're aware, and you're not going to that dark alley belligerent drunk, and making a fool of yourself.
Causing attention.
It's like, no, just let me mind my peace, and then people will not really mess with you. I truly believe that. But there's always that case. You could get in your situation, but you don't live your life like that.
Exactly.
I don't think you should live in fear of, because otherwise you're gonna miss out on an experience.
Right. Not anywhere near the same, but like when I went to a hike, part of the AT, people were like, are you nervous about going alone? Like, no, it's like, it's a trail in the woods. Like, I get why it sounds bad, but thousands of people do this every year, and
What's the AT?
The Appalachian Trail.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to
Right. Yeah.
So, was that 2 years ago you did that?
2019. Question mark. 2019. Let's go with that.
You want to talk about it at all?
Yeah. I figured you're gonna ask me about this, so I brought a great story with me. So I did like a 22-mile hike the one day. Me and this other guy named Troy. So my trail name was Thor, and then this other guy I met named Troy. His dad was like Norwegian or some shit, and he wanted to name him Thor. So I was like, that's my name, dude. He's like, no, that's my name, dude. You know, it was like, he's just fucking awesome guy.
Yeah.
So I called him Troy Thor. Cool fucking dude, though. He killed it. I was behind him. Anywho, we got to this place, the shelter. So shelters are like a cabin, but I guess you can't see the room, but instead of there being 4 walls, there's 3 walls. And then there's like a tin roof and whatnot. And basically you just lay like a sleeping pad and a sleeping pad and a sleeping bag down. You go to sleep and you wake up in the morning, eat breakfast, and go boogie. But woke up the next day and it was fucking pouring rain, like heavy as fuck, and no one wants to just walk out and get soaked for like 8 hours of walking, So Troy and some other dudes that I was with left, and then it was like 8 or 9, and I was like, fuck it, I'm maybe I'll ride it out. I went back to sleep. It was like 11 o'clock, and then more people had made it to the shelter, and then it was getting full. I was like, I'm not here to deal with all these people, so yeah, fuck it, let's go. And then I actually hike really good in rain because it keeps your body temperature low, and you don't get as tired as fast because it's raining out,
Yeah. Okay.
Anywho, so what I try to do is I'll look at the book and I'll see a town, like let's say there's a town 30 miles away, and then there's a shelter 15 miles away, and then there's a shelter 27 miles away. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna make an extremely hard day. So instead of doing 15, I'm going to do 27 miles. And then, so that way the next day I'm going to do like 3 miles and they can go to town and fucking chill. They call those Neros, by the way. It's a near 0 mile day. Anywho, so I figured these dudes were going to do the same thing as I did. So I went like, that day I busted ass, hit like, I think it was 26 miles, and I got to the shelter right before it was dark, and no one else is there. So I actually passed the shelter that they were at, but it was like a quarter mile, you know, like here's a trail. The shelter's over here.
Okay.
So I'm not walking. I'm not going to waste a quarter mile and a quarter mile back, half a mile to like go there, see if they're there. I was like, fuck it. I'll just go to that one. So I ended up passing them, but this shelter I went to was like built in like 1976. It was fucking terrible. Like most of the shelters are pretty good. This one was awful. Like there was mice everywhere. You could hear them running in the ceilings and shit like that. I was like, it was gonna rain again. I really don't want to get wet when I sleep, and like a wet tent sucks ass. Like I would rather just sleep in the ground instead of sleeping in a tent and having it get wet because it just adds so much to your pack, and it's just gonna be a miserable day. Like fuck it. But I was like, all right, I'm just gonna chill out in this the shelter will be fine. I probably laid down for 15 minutes and a fucking mouse crawled across my sleeping bag. I was like, dude, 15 minutes in, I'm not fucking doing this for the rest of the night. So I looked at my guidebook and there was like a parking lot that people from the town would go to like meet at a trailhead and go hike. So I walked like, it was only like 4/10 of a mile away. So I went there and this is like probably 10:30 at night and there's a car there with its headlights on. I'm like, fuck, this is weird shit. This is like, this is weird. Like, why is somebody out here? Blah, 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 blah. That's what I was like planning on sleeping at. So like, fuck, what, this car's here, what do I do? So I like looked at the sign and then I hear this voice yell like, do you need a place to sleep tonight? And it was like some lady's voice. I was like, and then for me, I'm like, yeah, fuck it. Let's see where this goes. I'm like, yeah, maybe. She's like, all right, well, I'm from Atlanta or whatever. I was in Tennessee at this point, I think. Anywho, this lady's like, well, there's a campground not too far away that she had a spot at, but she knew it was going to rain, so she packed up all her shit, and she got in she got in her car, and then apparently this parking lot was the only place within like 10 miles that gets reception, so that's why she was there, talking to her boyfriend or some shit. But she's like, well, you can sleep in my camping ground spot, and then I'll bring you back in the morning. I was like, fuck it, let's see what happens here. So then she drives like a station wagon. All her stuff's in like the front seats and stuff like that. So yeah, I hop in the back. I'm like, all right, sure, whatever. She takes me to this fucking this campground. She's like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna sleep in my car tonight. Sleep in your tent. I'll wake up in the morning. I was like, okay, sure. Put my tent out real quick. Fucking starts pouring out. And then she wakes me up in the morning. She's like, here's some cranberry juice, all that shit. She's like, well, I'll drop you off at the trailhead. And then I was like, okay, cool. She's like, what are you going to do after that? I was like, well, I was planning on going into whatever town I was in. She's like, oh, well, I'll wait for you. So I had to go like 4 miles to get to this intersection that would take me, it's called, I forget the town's name, never mind. But you had to go like 4 miles to this intersection. And she's like, yeah, I'll wait for you. So it took me like an hour and a half to walk that 4 miles up and down hills and all that stuff. And when I got there, she was waiting for me. So and she drove me like 25 minutes into town because, it was like 10 miles, but it was all these hills like this and stuff. And she's like, I was like, can I do anything for you? Like, take you breakfast? She's like, no, I'm not hungry. Whatnot. I was like, okay, sure, I guess so. But yeah, that's probably my weirdest story from the AT.
That's it?
Yeah.
You don't know anything else about her?
No, she was a postal worker in Georgia, I guess.
So she was just a nice lady, huh?
Just some fucking nice lady hanging out at 10 o'clock. So.
You don't know why she was there? Did you ever figure it out?
No. Well, she was like talking to her boyfriend on her phone, but that's the only place you get reception at. But
it's still like 10:30 at night,
yeah,
right?
I have no clue. Yeah, sure.
That is weird.
Yeah, like, when I say these things, it doesn't sound as weird, but like, being in the moment, like, why is somebody out here? Like, we're in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like, no one could get cell phone reception. That should probably cleared up a little bit. Like,
yeah,
there's not a town for, it's a 25-minute drive to a town the size of Bascom.
Well, I'm picturing what is this lady thinking from her perspective of a dude who just walked 27 miles in one day?
Not looking great, looking rough as shit.
And 10:30 at night, just like looking around, I need a fucking place to sleep.
Yeah.
And a giant man. I mean, your name was Thor.
Right, yeah, exactly.
And she's just like, oh yeah, come on in.
Yeah, I never really thought about it from her perspective because it's so weird from my perspective, but that's a good point. Yeah, she was awesome. Like, she gave me her, I mean, she was like 45. She gave me her number. She's like, oh, let me know how give me updates on the trail about how you're doing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, just weird shit. So random, Like,
yeah. So you have this kind of once in a lifetime experience with this random ass person. Sound like a pretty good experience, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Could have went sideways. She could have. Maybe she was a murderer, man, and just looking for the next prowl, but you were too nice to her.
Yeah, I mean, well, the weirdest part was seeing him for the first time, like, headlights in your eyes, it's pitch black outside, I had, like, a little headlamp on. It's a girl's voice, so obviously it's disarming.
Yeah.
When you walk up to the car for the first time, that's when you get, like, a feel for it, and you're like, it should be good. Yeah. But, every movie ever about something like that is, like, same thing, and then the guy comes out from behind you and fucking bashes your skull on with this rock. Like,
yeah,
that'd be pretty desperate to do that out there, but...
Totally. And it's like, what are the odds of actually running into somebody at that time anyway?
Right. Somebody did get murdered on the AT when I was out there.
While you're out there?
Yeah, but they were, like, 200 miles ahead of me, so...
Did you end up crossing that path?
I did, actually. Do you want to go over it real quick?
Yeah, so, let's jump into, like, I'm curious of what compelled you to even do that. Like, why is, like, dude, I want to do the Appalachian Trail this summer.
I've always wanted to do adventures. I never really had any, like, specific plans, and I love hiking, and there's awesome hiking out in New Mexico, Texas area, like West Texas. Like, so I would love to go back and go over that area. Well, Continental Divide kind of goes over the same area. Okay, yeah. So, and then I went hiking with a group of guys, and then somebody told me about the Appalachian Trail. This is in 2014. Somebody told me about the AT. Like, hey, when we were going to get out of the Army at the same time, like, this is a classic Army story, like, this is what people always do, like, oh, when we get out, we'll live a better life, like on Rambo, he says we're going to drive a car till the wheels fall off and shit, but all his friends died. Didn't really happen to me, but, people just go their separate ways, yeah. But, so I was like, okay, cool, I'll definitely think about it, and then I started researching it, like, that's fucking awesome, dude. So it was in my mind since 2014, and then 2019 was the first time that I actually had a 3-month window where I could actually, if I were to make it, I would have had to average like 22.5 miles a day for 3 months. Like,
it's a long time,
especially when you live in flat ground Ohio. Like, it's the first 3 weeks fucking just kick your ass. Like, it fucking sucks. After that, you kind of get rolling. Like, I'd have like my sides would be rubbed raw and shit like that, and obviously your feet and legs are fucking feeling awful, and like your neck's feeling terrible and stuff like that. But you eventually get used to it. I was hitting a crazy stride for a while. Like, I could do 33 miles a day. Like, it would suck, but like you do it and you fucking feel awesome about it. And then
what do you? So you're just numb to that feeling of pain after a certain point, or you?
No, you grow into it for sure. But after, like, I self-diagnosed myself with, like, a stress fracture in my foot because, like, my foot fucking, it hurt to walk every step. Like, it was awful. Like, you're walking out there. There's not too much else you can do. So there'd be times where I'd stay in a hotel room for, like, 5 days. Just, like, I'm stuck in, like, North Carolina. I'm not going to leave. Like,
yeah.
There's not really much else for me to do. So I wasted, like, almost 3 weeks just basically trying to heal from my foot. Like, burned a ton of money doing that, but it is what it is. But when I was hitting there was one day I did 43 miles, and it was fucking awful. But
Jesus Christ, man, that's insane.
yeah, the day before I did 43, it's called the Damascus Dash, basically. So there's like challenges that you can do on the trail. Like people say, go from here to this town called Damascus, Virginia. Do it, and you're supposed to do 40 miles under 24 hours. But from where I started, it was like 43. The day before I did that, some guy did that from Damascus to where I was. 12 hours. Looked great, like not even a limp or anything. I was talking about, hey, where'd you come from today? He's like, Damascus. I was like, you're shitting me right now. It was like 6 o'clock. He's feeling great. Took him 12 hours to do it. For me, it took me 18 hours and some change. And by the time I got there, like when I hit 12 hours, I still had 50 miles to go. Like, that is miserable, dude. Absolutely miserable. And then, so Damascus is called Trail Town, USA. Like, thousands of people go there every year for like hiker festivities. It's like, imagine a country concert, but for dirty hiker boys and girls. Which there's actually a lot more girls on the trail than I ever thought. There was times when I was there with like 6 girls by myself. Like, I did not see this coming.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
But anywho, right, so you hear all this hype about Damascus is fucking awesome. It's the best place to be ever. I get to the town of Damascus. It's, from what I remember, it's kind of shaped like an L. So I got to the base of the L, and it's fucking blacked out. There's no lights on, no nothing. I'm like, there's a big sign like no camping in town. Like, where the fuck am I supposed to go, dude? Like, this is I'm not the only person in the entire world who's done this like challenge before.
Yeah.
Like, this is like people do this all the time. So what are they doing? Like, they just like go back to the trail and like take a nap for a while. But it's like, fuck it. I walked a little bit more into town. I feel awful, right? By this time, like, I'm shuffling like steps, like 6 inches at a time. Like, my feet are killing me. There's these pop machines everywhere. So I'm like, oh, a fucking pop sounds. A soda sounds so great right now. I go to like, there's like 4 machines. I go to all of them, and none of them fucking work. Like, I could have fucking cried. It was so dejecting. You're like, oh, I just want to go to sleep. I feel fucking terrible. I carried this fucking 30-pound bag on my back for 40. It ended up being like 43 miles by the time I got said and done.
Jesus Christ.
Anywho, so I keep walking looking for any place to stay. Like, there's no lights. It was like, I think I got to the town at like 11:56. So midnight, not that late. No bars open, no nothing. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, people do this often. Like, what do they do? Anywho, so I walked to the other end of town, like, looking for any place to stay. And then finally, I see another vending machine, and it worked. Like, thank God. So I bought like 4 pops out of it, like, small victory. And I see this cop talking to some people. I'm like, hey, man, I did the Damascus Dash, looking for any place to stay. He's like, oh, there's a free hostel, which is like a garage, like bunk beds in it that people can stay at. Some are pretty awesome, some are trash. He's like, it's on the other side of town. I'm like, oh, like Winston side. And he's like, yeah, it's down that way. I was like, dude, I didn't say this to him. I was like, give me a ride in your car. Come on, dude. Like, yeah. I'll sit in the back. Like, I know I smell like shit, but you guys are used to this stuff. Anywho, so he's like, I'll show you where it's at. So he drove down there. And then he told me the directions to get. Well, I didn't know he was actually going there, but he's like, yeah, it's down this way. There's a church. Go to the first house on the left after the church. I went to the first house on the left. It was dark out. I went to the first house on the left after the church. Like, I had a funny feeling it wasn't the place I was supposed to go to. Like, there's no signs. I'm like, opening the door, like, looking there, like, I'm pretty sure this is the right place. I look around a little further. Meanwhile, there's like 17 churches in this town, by the way. And then finally, I find like the right place to go. There's a porch. I open the porch up, go to walk in the actual, like, establishment.
Yeah.
Door's locked. I'm like, fuck. Whatever, dude.
And this is the right place.
This is the right place. And then, so I'm like, fuck it, whatever. This is way better than anywhere else. But, like, there's a trash can overflowing of trash. Like, there's a fluorescent light on the whole night. It was like, fuck it, I made it when I had the best night of sleep in my life. And I took my boots off, and I had blisters like that big in my heels and stuff like that. But, I mean, like, looking back on it, I'm a big, like, facts and figures guy. Like, no one can take that away from me that I did that and shit like that.
Yeah.
So
do you want to put on the record, does Damascus suck?
What's that?
Damascus sucks now.
During the daytime, I'm sure it's not that bad, but don't go there. If you're gonna do it, get there before 11:56 p.m. I guess. Like, if you can be a fucking stud like that one guy and doing 12 hours, there's a plethora of places to be. But
That's insane, man.
yeah,
I can't even. I've never done a hike like that, so I have no frame of reference either for 40 miles in one day. That's fucking crazy, dude. That's hardcore. Yeah, that's what you said. I'm curious on how you, when you, man, you and your goals is insane. I don't know if that's normal.
maybe not.
But it's awesome. It's something like really fucking cool where you're a person, dude, you set your mind to it, and I respect it a lot, man.
I appreciate it.
Like where you're one of the few people who there's no bullshit where you say you're gonna do something. Like, I feel like anybody who knows you will, like, if it's gonna be next year or 5 years or 10 years, he's gonna fucking do it, because he's not gonna if you're telling people you're gonna do it, you're not gonna steer from your word.
My goal is if I say something out loud, like, I'm not gonna be that guy who's like, oh, I'm not gonna do that. Like,
Yeah.
if I actually have a credible goal I want to do, like, and if I'm at the point where I'm telling people I'm going to do it, like, it's in the works, it's in a process of moving. But same goes to you, dude. Like, all the videography and stuff like that, and like the drones and like all that stuff that you get into, I find so fascinating. Dude. It's like at some point in time, I'll eventually take a leap and like get into it a little bit. Like, I'd like to do journalism, but not like more of a forum type of journalism type thing.
Yeah.
Where you post questions, but like what you're doing, I think is awesome. Like, you might not see it, but like you're somebody who I idolize also, of like same thing, like goal wise. Like, if you're same shit for you, like you're not if you say you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it. Like, look at this fucking guy. He bought a triplex. Was that what you want to call it?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
Like, did all this shit on his own, basically, and a homeowner, all that shit. Like, that's fucking awesome, dude. So, here's a Bundy shout out to Jake Welly.
Thanks, man.
Killing it, man.
Yeah, and no, it was fun. Like I said, I like trying to stay to my word 100% as well. And that was something that I wanted to do, so I was like, fuck it. I went for it. And that's how you got, I truly think that's how you gotta live life, man.
Absolutely.
I'd much rather fail than say, like, 20 years from now, dude, man, what if I would have just bought a rental property and kind of did a remodel like I thought I was going to, and it's much better to look back and say you did it and it not work out than say what would have happened.
Yeah, like, you get one life. Like, my favorite quote is like, it used to be at least, all men die, but some men never live. Like, I'm not gonna live a half life. I'm gonna, at least when I die, I hope people say, like, that dude got everything he could out of life, like, to the last ounce of energy.
I would I might even go one step further with that quote, which is probably more unfortunate, is that probably most people don't live, man.
I 1,000,000% agree with that. I 10,000,000,000% agree with that.
Which it sucks. I was just talking to Morgan about that, of like, people just kind of get going through the motions. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, too scared to change things. I understand it. Like, you shouldn't just fucking say send it, like, I'm gonna go jump out this window, because it'd be fucking awesome.
It might be awesome.
It probably would be. But yeah, like, I don't want to live a safe life. Like,
do you prescribe to any specific philosophy or religion, ideology that helps you steer that compass at all? I guess, is there anything else internally or externally that helps guide you through this life?
Yeah, there's 1,000,000%, but like, I haven't reflected on that recently, so I couldn't really tell you. But like, what about you?
Yeah, I think there's concepts of a lot of religion or philosophy that I like the ideas of. I have problems with, like, having an idea that's my way or the highway, because I don't think that there's one way.
I agree.
And that's like the right way of saying like a religion from religion basis, I guess. What I'm trying to say.
Okay.
But I do think that there's reasoning and things that you can take from that. It's all about what we talked about when we very first started talking. It's like only you have the ability to internalize information and have it be a positive direction for you. And I think growing up Catholic, there's definitely morals of trying to have that moral compass that helps guide things in my everyday thinking that I don't even, it's a subconscious thing. But going out, I've just recently have been interested in just the idea of like meditation.
Okay.
Having that aspect, and that's all derived from Buddhism, and kind of more of that Indian culture. And then also paralleled with that was another recent thing I've been looking into called Wu-Wei. Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a Chinese philosophy that's an art of doing nothing.
Okay. I've heard of that before, but I think more in like a sarcastic basis.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So I kind of, when I was told about this from a guy I work with, I was kind of caught up in the wordplay of it all. I was like, man, the art of doing nothing, it sounds at surface like you're being lazy.
Yeah.
But like when I was reading into it and like actually kind of grasp the concept of it, I was like, man, it's a really good way of trying to be aware of your surroundings or your actions. And it's the idea of getting into a flow state where if you're enjoying what you're doing, it should just flow naturally, and it's going to feel like doing nothing because
I see what you're saying.
Because it's just you're in a flow state of just naturally going through this motion. Like when I get down and ready to edit a wedding video, I'm like sometimes I'm like dreading the motion of going out and starting that task, but like when I get through and start editing it, it's like, man, I don't want to fucking stop. Like I like this puzzle of pulling this thing together and like putting this final piece of work to push for that final effort. And it's like, you get into that state of mind where it's like, holy shit, dude, it's 2 a.m. and I've just been doing this for 7 hours. It's like,
that's awesome. And
that's what you should, and like I was like, man, it is a fucking good way of just kind of pulling yourself out of the situation and like think about what you're doing. And it's like, if it feels exhaustive and you fucking hate your life, then why are you wasting your time doing it? Because what you said, we only got one life.
Mm-hmm. I'm 100% on board with that philosophy. Like, I've just looked at it in a different way. Like, kind of the same thing though. If you feel like, I always saying like, I'm going to go to work. Like, I've never said that about Army. I've never thought about it like that because like it's just something I did. Not that I loved a lot of the parts about it, but like, yeah, I definitely get what you're saying. Like, I always think if you look at your job, whatever you do, career, whatever, as work. Yeah. Like, then you're just mentally setting yourself up, like, I'm not going to like this. But if you were like, I'm going to go, like, for me, when I go to the Viaduct, I'm like, I'm going to go to the Viaduct. It's probably going to suck. But it's probably not going to be that bad either.
I think that's fine. I don't think there's an issue with that. I think that you just have to be, like, if you know that it's going to suck, I think it's fine as long as you're aware that you think it's gonna suck. And like if you don't, so if you're aware, then you shouldn't be like, well, I'm just gonna do this the rest of my life.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Is like if you're aware of it and you're consciously aware, like moving in the direction of saying like this isn't what I want to spend my time doing, and getting away from it, then I think that's fine. But like, what's not good is if you're not aware of it and you just like okay with it.
Like, just satisfied with the
it's like, well, it fucking sucks, but whatever. It's my life.
Right.
And then, well, if you're like that, then it doesn't have to be your life.
Yeah, I'm 1,000,000% on board with that. Like, I always kind of say, like, think in my mind, like, I had to do this, like, I had to suck dick for money, like, not literally, maybe literally, doesn't matter. But, like, same thing, if you got to do that to cross that bridge of, like, I have to do this to, let's say you need $50 to, like, go buy a GoPro or some shit to, like, start that next phase, you know what I'm saying? Like, kind of a bad example, but, yeah, definitely with that, like, yeah, you definitely are going to have to do shit you don't like, but as long as you're building that bridge to get to that better life, instead of, like, I really fucking hate my job, but I'm not gonna leave it because I
need the money. You need the money, right?
Yeah, or not even that, but it's like this is where I am. This
Yeah.
is where I'll be. Like, not for me.
Yeah. I don't know if I see it here. The David Goggins book.
It might be in the other room.
Either way, so that's when I started one. So that dude is the antithesis of Wu-Wei. He's 100% like, no, you need to punish yourself.
Yeah.
To get, and which is like, I like hearing different perspectives, and like I don't disagree with that either. So I don't know. I just like piecing, like, and learning from different religions or cultures, and like, because I think there is value in both philosophies of life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And learning from them. But like, you know, I prescribe to I like to think I prescribe to Wu-Wei, but I also can understand a perspective of grueling through pain, fucking hiking 44 miles a day, but hey, maybe that's what takes you to get to a flow state of like, you enjoyed that pain.
Right, and they say, well, especially with hiking in general, they say it's like type 2 fun, like, it really sucks while you're doing it, but like afterwards you're like...
Yeah.
So I guess I'm in the middle of both. Like, if you can feel like you're doing nothing while doing something, you know, that's awesome. But then I also think that you had to, like, suck that dick. To, like, go through that hard shit to make the rest, you know, like, say my life is better because I went through the hard spell.
Yeah. I had the same experience when we were in Nicaragua hiking a volcano. It was...
I'm sure it's straight up, right?
Yeah. So it was one of those things. It was like this, flat, and then like towards the end it was straight up. And it was all about for me, it was the self-accomplishment of doing it. Like, hey, we're going to do this 12-hour hike
Damn.
Up and down a volcano. So like average person is 12 to 13 hours to finish it. And we had this fucking guide who does it every day.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, you could go up there and do it yourself, but when you get to that steep part, fuck, dude, some of it was sketchy as hell, where just the crazy atmosphere and like conditions up there, where, so we got up to that steep part, and a wind gust came in and it started raining on us.
Oh, shit.
And he's just screaming at us, lay down against the rocks. So like we're basically climbing at this point, and you just like put our whole bodies up against.
Did you speak English and stuff like that so you can understand?
Yeah, he spoke mostly English, but like native language Spanish. But he knew enough to like talk that general, and just screaming at everybody like, don't fucking. And
gosh.
So my dad came down actually for that 1 week.
No shit. Okay, I kind of remember it a little bit.
And he was like all about like doing what we were gonna do, and like, we're gonna hike this volcano. He's like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna hike that volcano with you guys. And I remember like looking back at him, and I saw the fear of God in my dad's eyes, because he was so fucking scared shitless. He's gonna call me out for if he ever sees this. But I looked at him, and the wind gust picked his book bag up off his back. So his back is like backpack is flapping in the wind, and then he had a bandana for a sweat bandana, and it pulled it right off his head. And that wind gust came through, and he was just like laying there, and like the guy's like, all right, we gotta go up to the top now. And like Dad's like, I'm not fucking moving, dude. But it was, when we did that hike, we did it so fucking fast. This dude's just running through it. And it was like, damn, dude, this is kind of sketchy a little bit. You get to like the top, and there's hot spots steaming out everywhere.
Wow. That's nuts.
And you can't, it was kind of a bummer because it was so super cloudy. We didn't have like a good payoff for seeing it, but just like that yeah, dude, I just did that. That's kind of crazy. I'm here in Nicaragua. I just hiked an active volcano.
Not to mention like a near-death experience. Like that's
maybe potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, looking back, I was like, yeah,
a life-shaking experience. Maybe you know, like in the movies they always say like nothing will ever taste better than like the next meal that you have and shit like that. Where you're like, you feel lucky to be there and shit like that.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's just I don't know, man, and that's like why just having that mentality that you have, and I think I have it as well.
Oh, I think we definitely on the same. I mean, we're definitely in different areas. I think, but definitely on the same wavelength.
Yeah, we're vibing. No, but yeah, of just wanting to experience and going out and seeing the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like because there's so much shit to see, and I don't know if envy is the right word, but like some of your trips and like you explain the Appalachian Trail, like man, dude, that sounds awesome. And I don't know if I want to do something like to put myself through that, at least right now with my mindset, but like just the idea of hiking for that long and trying to do 40-mile days and just consistently do it, it's crazy. And like, yeah, maybe one day I'd be interested in doing it.
Right.
But like, as of right now, I'm just like, dude, there's so many things that I want to go see and do.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm kind of like, all right, where do I start to try going this
I'm
direction?
basically on that too. Also. Okay, split things. For long distance hiking, if you're a stats and figures guy, like say, hey, I've done this. Like for me, I didn't make it all the way on the AT. I made it 1,200 miles. It is what it is. Could have been better. Could have been worse.
That's still awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. But like, if you don't value, like, no one can take that away from me. I've done that. But if you don't value, like, shit like that, then is it really worth it? Maybe not, because like you're experiencing one thing, but like you go through these towns and shit like that, you're not really getting a good look at the culture and stuff like that. You're there, you eat, you sleep, and you take off. And like exploring, I'm exploring what is on this path. Like you talk to anybody who does like long distance hike, like ask me to go 1/10 of a mile to see a waterfall. That's gorgeous. Fuck no. That's 2/10 of a mile total. Like I gotta go like 23 miles. I mean, yeah, well, 1/10 of a mile not bad, but like I'd be like waterfall 6/10 of a mile this way. Like I'd love to, man, but I can't fucking do it. Like I can't lose that time.
Yeah.
What I would do is kind of like me and Kane did this summer is hit a bunch of places, go do see and stuff like that, and so, like for a longer time period. But yeah, hiking long distance trails is awesome to say that you've been there, done that, but you're not really getting. You're getting the walking experience. You're not getting like the towns and the...
Yeah, I think it might come back. What I would expect it to be is like you're in your head more, and it's more of an introspective experience of like pushing yourself, experiencing this wilderness piece of it, especially with you who did it by yourself.
Right.
Whereas you could be going out, meeting people,
right,
trying new food, seeing like a town and like going to a
right.
bar, like a dive bar. It's completely different than that.
And then going and seeing like sites that are out there that aren't on the literal beaten trail, you know?
Yeah.
I hiked without headphones or anything because I wanted like that hardcore, like I'm in this shit experience, which is good but bad because like I saw way more deer, way more snakes, way more bears than a lot of people did because I could hear them, and then you know a lot of people just fucking But then also you're like, man, this fucking sucks, dude. Like, you know, you just get lost in your mind, which is a good thing. But then also if you're having a shit day, like all you think is like, this fucking sucks. This sucks. This sucks. This sucks.
Yeah, I think exactly. I think it would be. I would like it for a few days, but then after that, I was like, man, give me a book to listen to. Let me listen to some podcasts. Let me listen to some music. Just something to like stimulate another part of my brain.
The next time I go on a lunch, it's like I'm gonna yell Pat McAfee's podcast, all Jake Welly's podcast. Maybe I'll even take a dive into fucking Joe Rogan. Yeah, but we'll see.
There's everything's out there.
So part 2 of the other story. How you're saying you're kind of like, where do I step? Because at some point in your life, if you take a step one way, then you're missing out on an opportunity on the other way and stuff like that. Yeah. Maybe that's not the right way to look at it, but I think in my eyes, that's how I view things. Like, you know, I like in my mind, a lot of see like like a trailhead, like they call them deltas, like the Nile Delta. You know how the river splits like however many parts.
Yeah.
I kind of see myself at like there's all these trails, and then I'm like just kind of looking back and forth, and maybe step on this trail a little bit and fucking hop over that one, and like I don't want to be the guy who picks one thing, stays rock solid. I mean, it's a figure of speech, so like, you can't sum up all your life in like, one thing like that, but I don't want to be the guy who I'm willing to wait to figure out the best approach rather than like, okay, I graduated college and I have to go get a job. Like, I'm cool with fucking, I had to get a career. I'm cool with working shitty side jobs to get by while enjoying my life before. I'm like, all right, at this point in my life, I'm not ready to settle down. Like, I feel like someday I'll wake up and be like, hey, I'm ready to fucking pump the brakes, like, stay in, a town for, like, this is home. But now is not that time, so I'm just not ready to be at one place. What about, how do you feel about that in your world, kind of?
Yeah, it's it's hard because I started the path of going to like career. I mean I've been so regimented, yeah, of like school, job, work, and like staying on that. And I feel like now I'm at a point of work, I'm trying to get on that crossroads path.
Right.
That you're like, hey, all right, I'm ready to go to a different direction and try experiencing something else for a while.
Right.
Like, I freak out thinking about fucking working till retirement, dude. Jesus Christ, it makes me so sick.
Oh, yeah.
When people tell me stuff like that, like, another 30 years and out, and I'm like, dude, that's the worst thing I can ever hear anybody say. It's like,
right.
Dude, I don't know, I just get so frustrated with, like, myself, because I'm maybe supporting some of that system, and then, like, just, like, come on, like, if you're not happy, if you're that happy of, like, 30 years and out, dude, that's your life. And, like, it's so sad to, like, just, I don't know. I feel sad for that person, almost.
Absolutely. One of our friends, I'm gonna keep him nameless. His old saying used to be like, living for the weekend. Like, no, dude. Like, let's say 4. It's 5 working days. But like, let's say 4 days out of your week. That if you have that mentality, like, yeah, it's a saying, but like, I'm kind of the guy that you say something long enough, like, you think that way. Like, don't say that, dude. Don't discount yourself. Like, bet on yourself that you're gonna fucking rock. Like, yeah, we all have days where I fucking sleep like 12 hours. I'm like, oh, that was a wasted day. Like, I'm gonna go play Xbox now and continue to waste that day. But like, at least try to squeeze that last drop out of your.
You know what's funny? You said something maybe 20 minutes ago. I was gonna bring up that saying. It's stuck in my brain ever since that was said, and you were there. I remember distinctly you going, and like I've always remembered that memory, and like that I've never like had that saying stuck in my head, but it is stuck in my head because of your response, just to hearing it, like just verbally and visibly, just grossed out of like, no, dude, that that is a terrible saying.
Yeah, I mean. To each their own.
Yeah.
If it's just a saying for him, it was just a saying, but like, don't discount yourself, man. Yeah,
and it's one thing to have it as a saying of like being excited to do your own thing.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but like take that one step further of like, well, what is your thing that you want to do? And like if you do truly hate your 9-to-5 job that you're doing 5 days a week, then like think about why you're doing it. Like, what are the pros and cons? And maybe there's a path for you to not do that 9-to-5. It's just a matter of how you can take it and think about, just being aware and trying to think about your situation. But like I said, I don't think most people do that.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all. In today's day and age, with like all the resources we have, you can find, like, for me, I'm a the schedule I work now, I talked about earlier, is like work from like May to November. That's like if I could find a job where I worked over the winter months and have the summer months off, like at an oil rig or some shit.
Yeah.
I mean, with lives like that, obviously there's always a trade-off. It's not like if you want to stay a relationship, it's not obviously you're living your life. You're not living like a relationship life. You're living like an individual life at that point. But so there's obviously always trade-offs. But if I could find a job where it's like work in the winter months in a warm place and then have summer months off, like oh my god, I'd be so happy. I would be the happiest man in the entire world.
Yeah, man, and I hope that you can find something that maybe that you figure something out along your path that
right.
Maybe you can figure out a niche way of making a job like that work and have your ability to, I mean, it sounds like, I mean, just want to have, I don't know if adventure is the word, or just to
Adventure, for sure.
experience, have the ability, time and experience of just going out and seeing the world.
Living life, man.
Yeah, and that's what it's about. Like you said, we got one life.
Right.
All right. What is it about New Zealand that's awesome?
Okay. So when I first went there, I was unhappy in life, and then I went there, and I'm sure it was a product of my situation, but everyone was so happy there, man. Like everybody was. I mean, obviously there's like homeless dudes. They're probably not having the best time in their life. Like, but the majority of the people were so happy. Like they're doing their jobs. Like I saw these river guys. We went whitewater rafting. These river guys had done the same trip fucking 5 times already that day. 30 times that week for, how many years have they done that?
Yeah.
And then they're having the best time of their lives. And I saw that and I was like, man, this could be me. Like, maybe not that I'd love to be teach whitewater rafting in New Zealand. That'd be fucking awesome. But like, you can have a job, be adventurous. You can check off a lot of things. You just got to go out and find it and like make it fit for you. But everyone was so happy.
Yeah.
Such a gorgeous place. No snakes there. Maybe there are snakes. Maybe I don't remember them, but I'm pretty sure they said there's no snakes there.
That's a bro. That's a big bro.
Yeah, because I'm a big time. I like hiking, and there's like great hiking there. Someday they call it the Tea Aurora Trail. It goes like 2,500 miles from the top of New Zealand to the bottom. I'd love to do that someday. We'll see. It works out because their winter is our summer.
Yeah.
So it could be doable. But yeah, I recommend it to anybody. You should definitely go. It's a beautiful country. I look at the pictures like my brain doesn't even remember how beautiful it is there because you just can't
even grasp that it's like a real place on this world.
Yeah, totally amazing. What's your New Zealand for you?
That I've been to?
Or just ideally want to go to?
Oh, everywhere.
Right.
I don't know. I think, I don't know what's next. I think somewhere in South America.
That's awesome.
That will be next.
I would love to go there. One thing I give you props about is like you really go out and like research, or at least it seems like you do, like all these different places, and it's like all this stuff is cool. And like there's so many hidden gems in that that you can actually like go to see that most people would have 99% of people have no clue about. Like I think it's awesome that you actually go out and like put the work into to make it a real thing.
Yeah.
To go and see it.
That's what we like to do, man, because exactly like you said, dude. Similar to all the waterfall hikes are the easiest hikes in the world because that's what 99% of people who go on hikes go do because they're a quarter mile long from the road, and then it's littered with people, and it's like, oh, look at this cool waterfall. Right. It's like, yeah, waterfalls are great, but like, fuck that, dude. I want to go on the 20-mile hike that nobody's on, and have a viewpoint and an experience that not everybody can have, because it is a little harder, but it's also makes it more unique for me to go like, hey, look like there's so many things that you can do that are right beside the easy thing to do.
Yeah.
And this one is equally as cool. It's not a waterfall, but it's an amazing hike.
Right. And you don't have to like. It can be your hike. You don't have to share it with 400 other people out there and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And
you can take your own time to like relish it and whatnot.
Yeah, and make the experience like truly your own.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just try and take that to everything of like looking what towns sound cool. Oh, fuck it, let's just go to it. Let's see what
absolutely.
So yeah, I don't know. I think I don't want to give too much away. I don't want to be locked in with timing wise and what's next. I guess officially what's next. Morgan and I are going to Big Bend, and in Texas.
Okay.
The national park on the west side, kind of in that loop, little thing of Texas. Does that make sense? I don't have a map here.
No. Like the West Texas, like the armpit.
Yes.
The triangle.
Yes, that's the national park there.
Okay.
So we're going hiking there in 3 weeks.
Have you ever been to Texas before?
Not for outside of work.
Okay. Awesome, dude. How long are you guys gonna be there for?
Just a quick 5 days. So Morgan's got time off for school.
Okay.
And we're just like, so she doesn't get like really time off until the summer.
Right.
And she was like, hey, we got some time. I'm like, well, fuck it, I'll take the days off. Let's just go somewhere. And we're just like, all right, let's go here.
I love that. Speaking of which, are you like kind of more office life now, or how does that work for you?
Yeah, with my job, yeah, I'm 100% in Finley, not traveling for work anymore.
No shit. Like in the office though?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So
you had a good run there for a while. Damn.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it. Like, you mean when I was working from home?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still fighting for it.
And you proved you can do it.
I know. I tried to keep trying to push it, and it's not being bought. But whatever, man. Their loss if it don't work out.
Right. No shit.
Because I'm not gonna sit in the cubicle forever. I like my job and my task,
and
I'm okay with setting these goals with what it is. But it's not like I'm not gonna sit here for 40 years in this cube.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I like what I do. If you guys can let me do it from home, I would love to do it and continue doing it for however long. I'm still enjoying it. But yeah, fuck them, dude.
Fuck them. Wow. So you just like look online, or how did you find this place? Can I turn this?
Yeah. Let me get it.
Maybe. I don't want to fuck your shit. Yeah, there you go.
Is that better?
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, so Morgan picked it out. She's always on like Pinterest or Instagram, like just trying to like find new places that like look interesting. And so we were just debating like, hey, do I want to go to Arizona again? Do you want to go to Colorado? And well, we never done any hiking in Texas, and springtime it's supposed to be not dead ass 120 degrees desert. So yeah, and we just saw some photos and we're like, all right, cool. So we're just backpacking, taking our tent, and then the last night we're staying in some house, Airbnb.
Nice. That's what I'll have to look it up on a map and see what's kind of going on there. But yeah, probably props to you, dude. That's awesome. Like, how many people would just say, I have 4 days, like, let's spend it at the lake in Ohio. Like, let's go anywhere else.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, flights are cheap now. If you look around, it's like you can go somewhere relatively cost effective. They're going back up than what they were, but yeah, we just looked at Morgan just looked at another flight to Brazil, and it was $400.
Wow. What it used to be? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, if you're flying out of the States when everything was like pretty well, like pre-COVID, $1,100 round trip maybe.
Really?
Yeah, $1,200. So like it could be, you drive up Toronto, and like Toronto would be like way cheaper than out of the States. So yeah. Kind of ranged, but yeah, it's like $400 to fly to not even Rio. It was like,
Yeah, right. That's awesome, dude.
It's a little expensive, but like if we have a bunch of time to like make it, an extended trip where it's not just 3 days. That's
you can actually get something out of it.
Yeah, because right now with COVID, I don't know how much I want to get into it. Like traveling outside of the country right now, insanely cheap. So you can do they're doing extended stays, like 4-week things on Airbnb now, where they're like Thailand, Vietnam, all these countries they're begging for people to come stay in their houses that are kind of built around tourism because nobody's going there. There's this 2-bedroom apartment in Thailand. You stay there for 4 weeks, a private pool villa, your own apartment, you're 5 minutes from the ocean. It's $400 a month.
Oh my, that's what I paid for rent in this old palace.
Yeah, that's what I fucking like, dude, like I'm paying that to live here.
Right.
And I could go
live
here
like
for the
star.
exact same price.
That's what, when I was looking to go to Jamaica, it was like $25 for like these awesome houses. Like, it could have been a scam, yeah, but there's like 65 places that popped up like $25 to stay here. Like,
yeah, and that's the thing. So like the 4-hour work week gets into that a little bit too.
Okay.
Of like, so it's $25 a night for short stays, but if you're there for 4 weeks, it turns into $3 a night.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's like you're bang for your buck if you can work from home or have a system that lets you work and move. It's like you're experiencing this culture for way longer. Mm-hmm. You're not rushed, so you're more relaxed, and it's cheaper.
Just imagine. I mean, you guys did it last year probably, but like you working from home and Morgan having all that time off from like teaching and stuff. Oh, imagine the places you guys could go.
I know, we were
on the regular.
I had so many plans last fall. Just like, all right, I'm going here. I'm gonna hit up this spot for 3
might
weeks.
As well, dude.
And then it was like, hey, you gotta come back in the office. I'm like, okay, I guess you guys are paying me.
Right.
So, who knows, man? We'll see. We're working out some things to see what like is the next big step. All right, big steps, man. Do you have the other 3 off the top of your head? You mentioned 2 of the 5, I think, unless I missed any other
what,
ones.
Like the big changes in my life were?
Yeah.
All right. So when I was in the Army, I used to reflect, like philosophize every day. I had so much downtime. It was incredible. Like, way too much. And then now, if I ever have downtime, it's so easy to actually fill your time, like, just doing dumb stuff. But like, there would be times where I just like sit and read, or let me check that out, make sure. Maybe someone might be trying to buy my car. Nope. Just Austin Harrison. Shout out. It's for Bundy. So I had like all this time to sit and think about my life, and then I drastically reduced my philosophy time down by like 99%. So I don't think about it as much anymore, but like on long drives I do.
Yeah.
So let's see the big steps. Going to Hopewell, absolutely life-changing. I thank my mom for that. Joining the Army, obviously, totally helped open my perspective. Not only joining the Army, but going to Korea and going into the unit that I was in. Like, some people hated it, but it really was like the best thing ever for me. Got to meet a lot of badass individuals, and then it kind of changed my mentality about a lot of things. Working at the Viaduct, huge for me.
You're repping 2 times right now, man.
2 times. If I hadn't worked at the Viaduct, I wouldn't live here. I wouldn't hang out with people I do now. I wouldn't be going to college. I wouldn't be doing a lot of things. I wouldn't be talking to you right now. That's for sure. I mean, we'd still be friends, but I wouldn't be like...
Yeah, physically here having this conversation.
I'm not going to say anything more about that. Delves into some other stuff. Oh, man. I don't, there's stuff. But,
yeah, there's some, I mean, like, there's even little things that are big things of just, that lead you to the same spot as well. Mm-hmm. So, that's cool, man. Yeah. I don't know. I like thinking about that. You mentioned it earlier, so I was just kind of curious on some of the other ones that you had.
Going to DC was awesome. I lived my best life when I was in DC. Like,
you seemed very happy there when I stopped there.
Yeah, it was. I couldn't have had a better time. I left a lot on the table there for sure. But for what I mean, obviously, had I known that shit was gonna get canceled, I would have done a lot more. But
yeah,
I had 2 jobs. One job I hated; it was terrible. But you gotta make that money to live a better life sometimes. The one job I worked at, like a very, very high class, for me it was a super high class bar. Like, you could rent these tables for like $300, and then it was just like a shitty couch and 2 seats that, like, so in DC, a lot of the people are there for stature and looks.
Mm-hmm.
So like the people are buying bottles for $100 that you could buy for like $25, you know, whatever they cost. Like there'd be a bottle menu, like this bottle of whatever is $300, like all fucking wild, dude. And like these girls like bring it to you, and it's like a huge commotion when people buy these bottles, and more, you know, obviously more people buy it. Like for what, dude? Like to show off at a club, big fucking deal. Like who? I mean, again, who the fuck am I to say anything about that? But like, this shit's whack, dude. But I met a lot of awesome people there. I still talk to some of them, and I only knew them for like 6 weeks, and like great bonds. I interned with the ATF, and that was fucking awesome, dude. Like, yeah, the ATF, their mission is...
What is the ATF, sorry?
So the ATF is the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. What they do, a lot of people don't like them, whether that's justified or not really my stance to talk about, but they're basically like your firearms regulators and stuff like that. And if you go to an Indian reservation and buy a semi's worth, a truckload of tobacco products and like bring them across state lines, like you're not paying taxes and that, you know, it's not really a big thing that happens too much, but basically the big thing is firearms. And they make all the rules, like the bump stocks, the pistol braces, you know, your AR-15 has to be so long. They make all those rules. You know, whatever. No,
you're good. Okay, I got it.
Well, yeah, I don't. You know, it is what it is. But the people I met there, I got to train with their SRT team, their special response team. Fucking awesome dudes. Like I happened to be at the right place, right time. I talked to some guy. He's like, "Hey, on Friday we're gonna go out and train. You're welcome to come." So I had to skip this thing on Friday, like this class I had. Like, I'm not gonna be there. Like, I'm not gonna pass up this opportunity. Boarded some train, took it like 45 minutes out, walked like 2.5 miles to get to, I didn't have a car there, so I walked like 2.5 miles to go to this abandoned mall where these cops had this, these Virginia cops had this mock-up of like, just room on rooms of like plywood walls that they could, some of the walls might have wheels on them, but it can move them back and forth so that way the cops could go through and just train. Like, sometimes I'd be like the bad guy hiding in a corner and, you know, come and find me and shit like that. But awesome. Like, I'm just some fucking guy standing there, and they went out of their way to like show me how they clear rooms and how they do all this stuff, and told me all their stories. They all like wish me well. Just amazing people. And the ATF gets shit on a lot, and those guys get shit on a lot. But no, they're awesome. They couldn't have been any better than me. But like in the ATF office, there's 10 interns that went to the ATF. Me and one other guy. Everyone else went to HR. Me and some other guy went to the special operations detachment or department, whatever. So the first day I get there, we're supposed to wear nice clothes. People had been telling me to shave. I had like a longer beard at the time. People had telling me to shave it for like months. Like, no, I'm not gonna do it. Don't be ridiculous. Anywho, I wear like a button-up shirt, like nice shoes. And then I meet my supervisor. He's like, "Yeah, we don't wear that shit here, man." He had a longer beard than mine. He had a ponytail. He had a full sleeve. Fucking awesome, dude. Like,
yeah.
And some dude who's been there, done that, and like you just like dudes that you can't mop up enough information from. Like dudes that would know more about anything, you know, anything than you could ever retain ever. Like, I don't know. I have the utmost respect for these guys, especially my supervisor. And he was real as fuck. He's like, "Hey, this is what it is. You do you. Like, I'm not gonna make you do dumb stuff. Like the dumb stuff I make you do is like dumb stuff that I would have to do, but I have more important shit to do, so you have to do it. Like it is what it is. No big deal."
Yeah.
But there was this huge office that was bigger than my house that nobody used, and so he gave us like an hour 45, 2 hour lunchtime. And I just go like take naps or like, you know, work out in there and shit like that. And I had to be there at 9. Most of the time I'd leave there at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, you know, it was slack, but it was real. Like, hey, I'm not gonna fucking jerk you around. Like, get your shit done and you can leave. Like, other people have to wake up like 5:30 in the morning to board these trains, go all the way across DC, get done at 5 p.m. and go back. Like, for non-paid internships. Like,
oh fuck. Yeah.
I couldn't have gotten a better opportunity.
Do you think it was mostly the people that made that?
Oh yeah,
Experience?
if I had to do like HR stuff, I would. I was because I thought that's what I was originally going to do. But I was like, I want a federal internship. I have other stuff, but federal, I just want that experience. And then, so I was really expecting it to suck. I was like, you know, I'm still in DC. I'm still gonna have a great time. But no, my life turned out awesome, man.
That's cool as shit, man. It kind of sucks too a little bit. Like, just think how much, like, every job could be awesome if people were just more free with being themselves.
Yeah.
And like, not like trying to be phony.
Mm-hmm.
If just like, dude, if it's just like, hey, I'm being, like you said, they're being real as shit.
Yeah.
And like how much everything else could be that much better.
Yeah, and like if you're real with your subordinates and stuff like that, like, hey, I know this sucks, Jake, this sucks. You have to do it though. Like, it is what it is. I'm sure you're gonna be a lot more about doing something and like doing it right instead of like, hey, fucking last guy in the chain, go do this. You know why? Because I said so.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, like real leadership's a big thing to me. He was an awesome guy. So ATF experience, awesome. Okay, never mind. We'll skip that part. Awesome. In the bar I worked at, awesome dudes. Like, it was actually my highest paying job I ever had at that point in time, and I fucking loved the work I was doing. It was like I would break up a fight in the bathroom, and then these high rollers would be like, "Hey, here's $100," and like slip in my pocket, like, "All right, cool, dude," you know, whatever. Anywho, and then I had to walk home, like 2 miles and some change back to like where I lived.
Every time you worked?
Yeah, pretty much. And then I was doing like 33 hours over the weekend. So I was like, make it back to my house like 5 o'clock and have to be back there at like 11. But okay, and it was an awesome time. Really loved the dudes I was working with. Best part though, so a lot of people got there on like a Thursday, and then they started their internships that Monday. For whatever reason, I didn't start my internship for like 2.5 weeks past everybody else. And again, same thing. I was the older guy there and stuff like that. People were like, I want to start my internship like right now. I'm like, you're gonna be fucking doing the same thing from like. So basically, what we do is at 9 o'clock in the morning, we have to go downstairs, like kind of dress up a little bit. We do a class about like personal budget or personal finance or something like that for like an hour. Then we go upstairs and they'd be like, okay, at 2 o'clock, let's meet at the Washington Monument, and then we'll talk about it for a while, and then you're done for the day. Like, you're telling me you'd rather be at some shitty internship where they're gonna make you fucking fill out Excel sheets than like enjoy DC. So I had like 2.5 weeks of just doing whatever I wanted in DC. One of my best friends from Korea was there, so we'd hang out all the time, and it was just an awesome time. But so that wraps up my DC experience, I guess. And then one day they're like, okay, so COVID happened, and then they're like, okay, you guys can work from home and stuff like that. My supervisor's like, dude, I don't have shit for you to do. You can do whatever you want. So I told the people at TU, they're like, hey, did they have stuff for you to do? Because I was getting credit for a bunch of classes to go there. I was like, yeah, of course. I don't have anything, like, right now, but he's going to get something from there. Okay, cool. Like, no, I don't have anything to do. Anywho, yeah.
I might have caused COVID because I was there like 2 days before that.
Wow. Yeah. It was I don't know. I don't remember the exact time, but when were you in February or March?
February, okay. I think. So it might have been a little time afterwards.
But yeah, I mean, either way, close enough though.
Yeah, so basically, I'm trying to keep somewhat of a consistent theme among everybody I'm talking to. So let's start with some of these questions that I'm asking everybody is who defines success for you?
Me.
Yeah, that's
is that kind of the answer you're going for?
Yeah, whatever. I guess who and why.
Well, what's your answer?
I was going with to see what you would say or like, but I was going for what I would answer would be myself, just to let me dictate that definition of it and try to not let other people what they interpret success as, to bleed on to my happiness.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I would go with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely the same. Like, obviously, you want to make your parents proud. You want to make your family proud. Like, you want to do good for the community and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like, if I had a significant other, and I have a girlfriend, like, you get the point. But if I was like married and had kids and stuff like that, like, then that would change but like as of right now, it's like, I choose what I think is success, and maybe success looks ugly. Maybe success means you can barely pay your rent, but you're working towards better things. Like, success doesn't mean you drive a great car. Success doesn't mean, like, you front, like, if you're real. Yeah. Maybe you're broke, maybe you have a jar full of quarters. That's all you got. Like, as long as you're building towards something, or, you're taking steps forward, not taking steps back. Yeah. Then that's success.
Yeah, for sure. Growing is what it sounds like. And like, just don't let someone else, like, if you think that illusion of their life is what defines success, or if it's a monetary thing or monetary goals, right. If you get that goal, eventually you're gonna be at a place where you're still not happy. And you see it all the time with celebrities, and like now that we have the internet culture, where this whole maybe facade of an idea of what success is, and then like these super successful musicians or artists come out and they're like, fuck man, they're still not happy, and like everybody's like caught off guard.
They're on drugs and stuff.
Yeah, like that. Dude. And it's like, obviously there's a disconnect with what people are trying to attain versus what they're pressured to think what they should be attaining, because like you're conditioned your whole life, hey, make money, be successful, have people look up to you,
car, all that shit.
And if you're a person who acquires those goals, and then all of a sudden you're like, man, I'm still not happy, like what the fuck did I do wrong?
Yeah. And how many people do you hear stories about, like, my whole life I thought I was supposed to be this, I did that, and I realized I'm not happy, and then they started a chicken farm. That's a stupid example, but like, oh, I love doing this, like, that's
fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. And that's don't let anybody talk down about it, and if they do, then
they aren't happy. They aren't happy themselves.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to talk shit, but like people who have to impress other people, like blatantly, like, it's one thing to be like, hey, it's cool what you're doing. I love what you're doing. Like, I don't know if you do this just for you, if you want to say for other people, like someday I want to make. I'm not on Instagram or anything right now, but I kind of want to do that and like be like, hey, there's these other options out there. Like, do it for other people. Yeah. Stuff like that. But the people who do stuff like, I drive this car, like, just so you can see me driving this car, like, man, that just sounds like sadness, dude. Sad. Like, what are you doing for you?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Oh, man. It's also crazy to let money just drive all of your decisions like that.
And the illusion of money, like, sorry, I'm all over this topic, but, like, all these people post, like, oh, adulting, I bought a car. Like, you did it, though. Like, the bank let you have it. Like, I definitely appreciate, like, I'm not trying to talk shit, but, like, is it buying a brand new car, is that a goal? Like, to have a night, you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, well, it's part of, I think, the system of that we're brought up that we think we're supposed to have, where it's like, that's like what people are presented as what a major step is. Yeah. Get a job, buy a new car, buy a new house.
Pay payments for that you don't really own. Like,
yeah, and it's like,
is living in debt, but looking like you live an awesome life, is that what happiness is, Like,
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't think it is.
I don't think so either.
But it's
if that's the route and then you're happy, then go ahead. Like, I'm not.
Yeah. But as long as you're being introspective, I think, of like really thinking about what you're doing, and if it does bring you happiness, cool. Yeah. But if you kind of really peel back the layers and realize that it's not, then
right, and it's not for you. It's because the illusion of what you think you should be doing.
Yeah. It's crazy too, because like, if you did pay outright cash for it, I tried to look at monetary expenses and my time to make that money. So if like you pay $70,000 for that car and you make $100,000 a year, is like, is that car worth 3/4 of a year for you.
I think about that in the same way and stuff like that.
And it's like, if so, just be aware of like, well, you spent 9 months of your time at minimum 40 to 50, 60 hours a week to purchase that value of an item. Is that time worth it? If it is, then okay, make the purchase.
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
it's not, then it's like time is one thing you're not getting back. And if you just spent 9 months for that car, and me, it's like, fuck that, dude. I'm not gonna spend 9 months of my time to get a car.
Yeah, I 10 million % agree. Like, one time Austin Harrison was like, you know, let's say he had it on deer or something like that. He's like, oh, I spent 15 minutes of my life, like, acquiring this. I was like, at first I was like, it's kind of a weird way to look at things. And now I'm like, yeah, it's true. Anything you buy, like, yeah, you're trading your money for it, but you're really trading your time for it. Like, is 2 hours of my life worth this thing? Like,
yeah, because if you pull back the roots of it, you're trading your time for that money.
Yep.
So that's really what you're giving up. So it's, I don't know, man. There's so. I hope that we and our friends and like more people can try to get out of that trap if they feel like they're in it.
Right.
Because that's all that you can do. Just try doing your best and
I hope I don't sound like I'm just spewing hate. Like,
I know.
It's just, you know, I just feel like some people just, I don't know. It's hard, but
yeah, I think it's because I've seen it firsthand of people who aren't happy and don't try to do anything about it.
Right.
And it's like, well, that's the biggest issue. It's like, why are you not trying to do anything about it?
Right.
And if you are happy, like we've been saying over and over, it's like, cool. Let's just like think about it and try to make sure you are being happy.
Quick side story, real quick. So, me and Kuhn were going somewhere, and we were talking about going to New Zealand or going somewhere, and some girl heard us, and she's like, "Oh, that must be nice to go and do stuff like that." Like smoking cigs. She's like, I haven't done this, but okay, well, it must be nice to smoke. You know, like, don't like do whatever you want, but like, don't like, oh, Jake, that's so nice that you go to Texas. Like, oh, you know, like, don't put other people down because you make choices to not be able to do something like that. You know? Yeah,
man. Like, we're going full circle to how we started this conversation. Of like, we live in a place, at least in America, and where we have the ability to get out of a bad situation. And not saying it's easy or discounting hard situations, but like, it sucks. I mean, because people are fucking sad, man, and people project their sadness, and they think I think truly people think that there's no way out sometimes.
I totally agree.
And they're like, well, if I'm not happy, fuck all these other people for being happy.
Right, absolutely.
Which just sucks, dude. That's just a sad way of looking at it.
Especially when they're chiefing cigarettes while they're doing it, like, what is that, like $7 out of your pocket?
Yeah. And, like, we've talked about this before in our last conversation when we were talking about your South Dakota trip, for that video, was like, dude, you can do a lot of this stuff frugally, and save money, and go out and live experiences on a budget.
Yeah, absolutely.
If that's what you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I don't know, you just have to, I'm sure we're on the same wavelength with this, like, you can't tell your brain, like, this is kind of dangerous territory, like, you can't tell your brain, like, no, I can't afford it. Because obviously you don't want to, like, spend beyond your means, but, like, how do you tell yourself, like, how can I make this work to where I can do this? Like, what do I have to do to be able to afford this or, you know, do whatever? Like, obviously I'm not saying I can't afford a Hummer, like, you know, how can I afford it? But, like, you know, just stuff like that. Like, I want a vacation I can't afford, and, like, what do I have to do to be able to reach that goal? Yeah, and maybe peel back the layers of what is your goal? Right. Like, is there more cost advantage ways of achieving that goal if monetary or money is an issue? Right. Just do research. Like, you know, you can look in to see do I need to stay in the 5-star hotel, or am I comfortable with maybe doing a hostel one night and doing a different experience? It's like, weigh those options and see what you can do to get to that point. So, is there
I'm trying to think of any other questions before we wrap this up. Is there somewhere, is there a next big step, a number 6 that you think, is it good? I'm trying to think of how to word this. Are you looking for a next big step, or is it more of this thing of like, hey, I'm going to go down this path and I'm going to keep working it until I get that light bulb? Or is it more of like, I'm going to keep striving to hit these life goals? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I absolutely get you. Yeah, there is a next big step. I don't want to go too deep into it, but like, so I'll hopefully work a full season at my job I have, and then I have a little bit of money left in my GI Bill, and I'm hoping that I can use that towards becoming like an EMT/paramedic, and then I think if I want to do Border Patrol or ATF or U.S. Marshals or what have you, it'll set me up a little bit better to walk into that type situation.
Okay.
But I don't want to go too far on my next biggest things because I haven't worked it out in my head completely yet. But what about you?
Yeah. Same.
Okay.
I've worked out completely in my head.
Okay.
I don't want to spill too many beans because like I said, I don't want to lock myself into saying something that I don't really mean.
We'll talk about it after this.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you have a certain guideline that you do you like, so everyone lists out like these are like, I'm sure David Goggins has like his things that he does. What are the things that you try to incorporate into your life?
Like on a daily basis, or just like
daily, but maybe philosophical.
So I've been trying to get more of a structured routine of like making sure. Oh man, I'm losing my train of thought on this. So, like I said, was interested in meditation and yoga and stuff. So like that was like a big thing that like I'm locking myself in. Hey, I want to do yoga and stretching and some sort of workout at least 3 days a week.
That's legit.
And that's like kind of what I've locked myself into at the start of the year of, hey, I want to get this a part of my routine. And like I know, hey, 3 days a week isn't much for that stuff, but it's like, hey, that's what my target goal is. I want to make sure it's holistic.
It's a foothold for sure.
Yeah, and I have a bunch of little things like that of where I just want to make sure I can attain them.
Right.
It's like I don't want to, because it's tough, man. I've been trying to get into running more often, and like with all this other things I got going on,
right.
It's like I could get up at 4 in the fucking morning and go running 5 miles, but goddamn, it's hard some days.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like if I just tell myself to go run 5 miles every day, it's like, dude, you're never gonna get in that mindset because
it's gonna take something crazy.
Yeah, you gotta just slowly work yourself.
Especially if you don't have a set goal for it, like.
Yeah.
What am I doing this for? You know.
So yeah, like there's some other things that I just kind of have little ticks. I don't know what it is, but I so like for this video series with this podcast and stuff, I had the main idea was when I filmed a wedding for a couple, and dude, they were sending me like so much like stuff of like, dude, this is awesome, thank you so much.
Oh wow.
Like dude, hell yeah, I love I am so happy that you're happy with this product.
That's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, and it was such a good feeling, and like what I take pride in when I'm making a video, and I've been trying to work towards that direction, is getting more and more of the personality of people in the wedding coming through, and it's like, hey, dude, weddings are awesome, but like fuck the idea of like my wedding's the best. Look how pretty it is. This is the most beautiful day in the world.
Here's $30,000, dude.
Yeah, and it's like, no, dude. What I want to remember is friends and family. What people were saying.
Okay.
So that's kind of what led to this idea of like having more of a platform or a basis to get personalities out there and thoughts of people that I think are awesome, and like I think people should want to reflect on different ideas. And like when I'm paralleling when I'm doing a wedding video, is like when at the reception I'm going around talking to people to say things to the camera for the bride and groom.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's the shit that you're gonna want to remember.
Right. I like that.
And so I don't know, just kind of like bringing more personalities and people being comfortable wanting to document that, because there's going to be people that you touch on in your life, and as long as I think if you're happy and projecting happiness, it's just going to bleed out to other people to make their day better, and maybe just a little comment or conversation can go a fucking long way of moving someone else's path on a happier direction. So
it kind of reminds, like, so I've been doing security at this factory, and there's this one dude that always comes in, man, like, he's always got a smile on his face, like, just talking to this dude, like, it lights up your day. And then I always think, like, if he lights up everyone else's day, how does somebody light up his day and stuff like that? But it's like just doing the same thing to him. Like, if he wants to talk to you, like, talking in an open conversations and just being like, hey, I appreciate meeting you, it's a good shit like that. I kind of forgot where I was going with this because I was just so focused on like how happy that dude is.
Yeah.
But every day he walks in, he's got a huge smile on his face and stuff like that. Like, how can you live life more like that? And like, he doesn't have probably, I don't know, like, I'm sure he thinks his life is awesome because he's so happy. He's like,
yeah,
you know, it is what it is. Like, I love my life. Like, how can other people attain that? You know?
Yeah, and how can, I mean, that's only gonna, like you said, just dude, it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And that's things like I try to there's negativity with my job, and I catch myself doing it. And so it's like, that's things I'm always striving to go towards, is like, hey, you know, just try to be in a happier and a better place, and your surrounding will be like the dudes that you worked with in DC. When they project that onto you, that makes that experience for everybody else 110 times better.
And then it's always refreshing when, like, if someone hates their life and they don't push it out on everyone else, like, hey, it's not my fault that you don't like your life. You're like, if you're in a bad spot, like, it's awesome to see people like, hey, man, like, not going great for me right now because my boss sucks or whatever, but like, this is how it could get better, and like, you know, I think you're doing great, you know, just guidance, leadership. And if everyone wasn't, if, you know, so many people are just getting sad and down and like, hey, I'm just gonna be sour to everybody, like, come on, dude.
100%.
It's not fair to anybody else.
And I don't know, like, it's so it sounds so easy, but dude, life's complicated.
Absolutely.
Shit's fucking tough sometimes, and you don't know what's gonna fucking punch you in the gut sometimes.
No shit. Absolutely.
So it's like you said, I don't want to come off as like pretentious or overly like, as it's so easy to be happy, because it's not sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely, I think that during this, it definitely came off like it's a choice. It is a choice, but it's not a choice that you can make every day. Like, sometimes you're just, hey, man, my life sucks right now. And it is what it is.
Yeah, and I think it just comes boiled back to just try to be conscious of your situation and conscious of what you're doing, and then just reflect on if this is the right direction you're going.
Yeah,
and that's just like the biggest things I would say that I'm trying to move towards. All right, man. So, is there any other big things you want to hit on?
No, I definitely love this. And I love having a deeper, bigger chat rather than like surface level things. Like, you know, I don't know.
Well, thanks, man. I got one last thing I'm gonna end it on. I'm ending on all of them. I don't. It's more of like not meant to be a serious question, because I don't think there's a real answer for it, but I just want you to say what comes to your head first. Troy,
what's up?
What is the meaning of life?
The meaning of life, that's a absolutely great question. I think to me, it's to get the most out of life. But then that brings it back. What is life? I don't know, the experience that you have here. And this is kind of weird, but like I think of like all these people dying in World War One. Like they live these lives, and then in 1 second they're over. Like, and then you become a number, and then you become a statistic. Like, how do I change my life from just being average and boring? Not saying everyone's is, but like just another thing to like being something special. And what does it mean in life? I don't really know. Maybe trying to make the most out of your circumstances. But someday, everyone you know is going to be in the past and things are going to be in the future. But like, you get that little speck of time, like how can you make that speck of time special and worth it for you, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
I don't know, what about you?
Save that for another time. It's about you, man.
Oh, jeez.
Troy, dude, appreciate it again. Thank you very much for doing this. I hope you enjoyed it. I feel like we had a pretty good conversation.
I think, yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
I think, I don't know, I enjoy looking at the deeper, the bigger part of things.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man. If you think of anything else you want to talk about in the future, we can do it again if you're into it.
I had a great time. Maybe I'll be on that side of the chair and then ask you other questions.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, man.